Welcome back to our channel. Today, we've got something special for you, a deep dive into the top 25 strikers in Premier League history. From prolific goal scorers to game changers, we've got them all. So, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's kick things off. The Premier League is widely recognized as one of the most competitive football leagues in the world. Over the years, it has been graced by some truly world-class strikers, who have dazzled fans with their footballing IQ and scoring capabilities. Whether it's a penalty box poacher, or the kind of complete forward who can do everything, some of the best sides from the 1990s onwards have featured an incredible array and variety of strikers. Ranking factors. Whittling down the vast amount of strikers to a top 25 takes some serious doing, and as a result, some important criteria has been used to make sure the list is as reasoned as possible. As well as the amount of top-flight goals scored, achievements such as any Golden Boot awards and Premier League titles will be taken into consideration, while some wider context such as how important that striker has been to their respective clubs will also be taken into account. So, join us as we list the top 25 strikers in Premier League history. Number 25. Robbie Keane. Kicking off the list is Robbie Keane. The former Republic of Ireland international played for a who's who of clubs in the Premier League, including the likes of Coventry City, Leeds United, Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool, West Ham and Aston Villa. However, it was for the first three clubs on that list that Keane really made his mark, first showcasing his talents at the highest level by breaching double-digit figures in goals in the top flight with Coventry. That led to a move to Elland Road where he was a part of the successful White side during the turn of the century. It was at Tottenham though where he really found consistency and a permanent home, scoring 10+ goals in the Premier League for an impressive 6 straight seasons until his departure. His highest tally in a campaign was 16, which he did so in the 2005/2006 campaign. Number 24. Germaine Depay. A Premier League stalwart who found his biggest successes in London with both West Ham and Tottenham, Germaine Depay was the kind of nippy, clinical striker who could score from all angles and twist defenders one way then the other. The former England star didn't end up winning the title or have much team success in terms of the Premier League, and on an individual note, had just the one solitary Player of the Month award to cheer about. Despite that, Depay was a reliable goalscorer at the highest level for a number of years in English football, and it's a testament to his longevity that after almost 2 decades of notching his first Premier League goal with West Ham, he was still banging them in for Sunderland. In fact, despite his age, Depay recorded back-to-back campaigns with the Black Cats of scoring 15 goals in the Premier League, real proof of just how consistent he was. Number 23. Ferdinand. Perhaps one of the more unfortunate England stars of his generation, Ferdinand's 17 caps for England was in no reflection of just how good of a player he was, instead more an indication of the sheer kind of depth and talent the three Lions had up front at that time. Ferdinand's golden period came in the late 1980s and the 1990s, with perhaps his most notable time coming in the form of stints at Newcastle United and Tottenham. It was at Newcastle where he scored the most goals in a single Premier League campaign when he netted 25 in the 1995/1996 season, one more than the 24 he got with QPR just a couple of seasons earlier. In fact, Ferdinand's exploits with the Magpies during that campaign saw him named to the PFA's Team of the Year, something he would surely trade for a Premier League title given the 2 runners-up medals he got in the couple of seasons he played on Tyneside. Number 22. Fernando Torres. While his time at Chelsea might not have gone to plan, that shouldn't discount from the absolutely incredible performances Fernando Torres produced at Liverpool. The Spaniard arrived at Anfield from La Liga giants Atletico Madrid, and took to the Premier League like a duck to water, with his combination of sheer pace and clinical finishing putting him among the top strikers in the division soon after his arrival. His almost telepathic-like understanding with Steven Gerrard, who played just off him, gave Liverpool a potent two-man partnership that was difficult to stop when they got going. Had Torres stayed put at Anfield, his goal record might have improved significantly than it actually did, but alas, his move to Stamford Bridge seemed to ruin his career, hence why he is not further up on this list. Number 21. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. A modern Chelsea great, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was plundering goals for the Blues even before the Stamford Bridge side came into the money. The Dutch striker had a powerful right foot on him, and could be seen on numerous occasions leathering one in from over 20 yards out and thundering a free kick in to boot to. His partnership with Eidur Gudjohnsen in particular stood out for Chelsea during the early to mid-2000s, and gave the West London side a real two-pronged attacker, with both capable of dropping deep and linking play up before marauding into the penalty box for the finish. Given Hasselbank carried Chelsea's attack before the big successes under the years of Jose Mourinho and Carlo Ancelotti, he rightfully deserves his place on this list, not to mention his couple of golden boots too. Number 20. Teddy Sheringham. Part of Manchester United's historic treble-winning side in 1999, Teddy Sheringham did the business in the Premier League for both the Red Devils and Tottenham Hotspur too. The former England star was at the peak of his powers during his time at both clubs, while it was at Spurs where he had two successful spells either side of his career at Old Trafford. It was perhaps to Sheringham's disadvantage that he was playing at a time when England as a country were blessed with a plethora of great strikers, and it was a big reason as to why he only played 51 times for the Three Lions despite being a part of the 100 goals club in the Premier League. Number 19. Erling Haaland. It's a measure of Erling Haaland's brilliance, that despite only being a season and a half into his Premier League career, he is surely already among the greatest the top flight has ever seen. The Norwegian's frightening blend of power and pace mixed with unerring finishing saw him take English football by storm following his move to Manchester City from Borussia Dortmund. The towering striker broke records left, right and center on his way to helping Pep Guardiola's side sweep up on all the trophies in his debut campaign at the Etihad. While he may not have cracked the top 15 or even top 10 on this list just yet, another year or two of him keeping up his current level of performances could easily catapult him into the upper echelons of the Premier League's greatest ever strikers. Number 18. Robbie Fowler. A legend of Anfield, Robbie Fowler was the kind of natural goalscorer who was born to plunder goals in the Premier League. Having come through the Liverpool Academy, Fowler would become an integral part of the Reds during the 1990s and would later strike up a fearsome partnership up top with an emerging Michael Owen. After doing the treble with Liverpool in 2001, Fowler would go on to pastures new with Leeds United, and later Manchester City, before returning to Merseyside for one short stint with the club. While he might not have been as high-profile of a name as an Owen, Fowler is certainly up there with being one of the best poachers the Premier League has seen in its era. Number 17. Dwight Yorke. A scorer of Premier League goals for a host of different clubs, Dwight Yorke was a big part as to why Manchester United would clinch the treble in 1999, forming a deadly partnership with Andy Cole up front at Old Trafford. His tally of 48 top-flight goals in just 96 games for the Red Devils gave him a mightily impressive 1-2 ratio, while he was similarly prolific for a weaker Aston Villa side too, scoring 60 in 179 matches for the Midlands club. The fact he was keeping out the likes of Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of Sir Alex Ferguson's preferred and go-to starting lineup spoke volumes of just how good and highly rated he was. When you talk about the best Premier League strikers, you can't not have Yorke somewhere in the conversation. Number 16. Dimitar Berbatov. One of the most technically gifted strikers of the Premier League era, Dimitar Berbatov's languid nature often took away from the sheer footballing brilliance he could produce. The former Bulgaria star showcased his talent initially with Tottenham, before Sir Alex Ferguson saw what he could do and brought him to Old Trafford in Manchester United. It was at the Theatre of Dreams where Berbatov's full repertoire of skills really came to the fore and rose to the occasion. Aside from his penchant for scoring the most acrobatic of goals, think his overhead kick against Liverpool for example, Berbatov could turn a match on its head by himself. As well as netting a hat-trick against the Reds in a 3-2 win, Berbatov would make history by scoring an incredible 5 goals against Blackburn Rovers. Number 15. Jamie Vardy. From non-league football to a Premier League title with Leicester City, Vardy's journey up the footballing pyramid is the stuff of dreams. Vardy is a lot more than just an incredible story though, with his scoring ability and exceptional pace making him an undeniable entrant into this list, scoring more than 130 goals in the Premier League. His goals of course helped do the unthinkable for the Foxes just a few years ago, and it's a story that will stand the test of time. The Englishman is still going strong with Leicester and could add to his tally should they secure their return to England's top tier at the first time of asking. Number 14. Ian Wright. Despite starting his Premier League career late, Wright made his mark at Arsenal with his infectious enthusiasm and clinical finishing, netting 113 goals. Wright remains one of the most beloved figures in Premier League history, mainly thanks to his undeniable charm, but his ability in front of goal cannot be forgotten. It was with the Gunners where the former England striker really made his name, and at one point, was the club's all-time top scorer until a certain Frenchman turned up. More on him later. While Wright is perhaps more known and familiar nowadays for his punditry work, his talents as a striker in the 1990s cannot be understated. Number 13. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy arrived at Manchester United in 2001 with a lofty reputation, having been prolific in Dutch football with PSV. He immediately hit the ground running in the Premier League and made a significant impact in a relatively short time at United, scoring 95 goals in just 5 seasons before departing for Real Madrid. His time playing for Sir Alex Ferguson was truly special, and he would have ranked higher on the list had he have stayed in England for longer. A goal-scoring poacher who lived and breathed the art of scoring, the Flying Dutchman's place in Premier League history is secure. Number 12. Michael Owen. Some incredible names have already featured on this list, with some even better ones to come, but Owen is the only one to have won the Ballon d'Or. The 2001 winner had a successful career with Liverpool, Newcastle United, Manchester United and Stoke City, scoring 150 Premier League goals in total. It was his time with Liverpool that was the most promising, but serious injuries meant that Owen didn't go on to become as great as his promise suggested he might be able to. His combination of searing pace and clinical finishing meant he was a defender's nightmare when he was fit and healthy, so it was a grand shame that Owen's luck with injuries let him down time and time again. Number 11. Robin van Persie. Robin van Persie's left foot was nothing short of lethal. The Dutchman joined Arsenal in 2004 and soon established himself as their talisman. But, with the Gunners failing to be as successful as he had liked, Van Persie angered their fans when he made the controversial move to their fierce rivals Manchester United in 2012. Van Persie became a Premier League winner in his first season at United as he scored 26 times on their way to the title. In total, the Dutchman netted 144 times in England's top tier, and his level of technique and power made him one of the most feared strikers during his peak years. Number 10. Luis Suarez. Despite a controversial stint, Suarez's contribution to Liverpool was undeniably impressive. The Uruguayan made the move to the Reds in 2011 and went on to score 69 goals in just 110 games, including an unforgettable 31 in the 2013-14 season, one of the most impressive individual seasons in the league's history. The fact he ranks so highly on this list despite being in the Premier League for just 3.5 seasons is testament to how good he was. It speaks volumes to his ability that after snubbing Arsenal to stay at Liverpool, the former Uruguay star made the big money to Barcelona, where he became part of a formidable trio alongside Neymar and Lionel Messi. Number 9. Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba was instrumental in Chelsea's rise under Jose Mourinho, with the strikers scoring some big goals in several of the side's titles. The big Ivorian scored 104 Premier League goals, often in high-stakes situations. But he was so much more than just a goal scorer. He was a powerful striker who bullied defenders with his great strength and aerial ability. He also possessed great technical ability and was quick. He had everything needed to be a top striker and deserves a spot high on this list. Aside from his exploits in the Premier League, Drogba's biggest moment in a Chelsea shirt came in the Champions League final when his late equalizer against Bayern Munich eventually propelled the Blues to their first ever triumph in that competition. Number 8. Andy Cole. Cole was a prolific goalscorer, particularly at Manchester United, and that's somehow often forgotten by fans. Those who weren't watching at the time don't know just how good Cole was in front of goal, with the Englishman bagging 187 goals in the Premier League. That tally is even remarkable given he did not take penalties. He only took one spot kick during his time in the Premier League, an unsuccessful attempt for Newcastle against Coventry back in 1994. His strike partnership with Dwight Yorke at Old Trafford was Sir Alex Ferguson's favourite front two in the late 1990s, with the likes of Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming off the bench. Number 7. Dennis Bergkamp. While not a traditional striker, Bergkamp's influence as a deep-lying forward was immense. His 87 goals don't tell the full story of his incredible technique, vision, and ability to create for Arsenal. He was a key part of the successful Arsenal sides in the 1990s and early 2000s, and Arsène Wenger wouldn't have wanted to swap him for anyone else. Bergkamp was so good that Thierry Henry named him as his best ever teammate in 2021, despite lining up alongside Lionel Messi at Barcelona. If you ever needed evidence of the kind natural talent the Dutchman had, then you only had to look at his goal against Newcastle United at St. James Park when he spun his defender and coolly slotted home. The stuff of dreams. Number 6. Eric Cantona. The charismatic Frenchman was a game-changer for Manchester United in the 90s. United had not been crowned English champions for 25 years prior to his arrival in 1992. Cantona made an instant impression and was pivotal as the Red Devils won the Premier League title in his first campaign at the club. He scored 70 goals and made a significant impact beyond just scoring, securing a legendary status for the side, and in the Premier League as a whole. It's fair to say there has never been quite another character like Cantona to grace English shores. Number 5. Sergio Aguero. The Argentinian striker holds the record for the most Premier League goals by a non-English player, scoring 184 goals during his 10-year spell at Manchester City. He was one of the best players in the Man City side that dominated English football, helping the Manchester outfit become the global powerhouse that we know them to be today. Aguero's most iconic moment, of course, when he scored the stoppage time winner against QPR to send City fans into delirium as they lifted their first Premier League title of the new era. Number 4. Harry Kane. Known for his consistency, shooting accuracy and ability on the ball, Harry Kane was Spurs' talisman for over a decade. Despite the Englishman's brilliance, Spurs were unable to win a trophy during his time at the club. Eager to win trophies during his career, Kane made the tough decision to leave the club he joined when he was 13 and make the £86.4 million plus add-ons move to Bayern Munich. With 213 goals, Kane is the second highest goal scorer in Premier League history, 47 goals behind the legendary Alan Shearer. Will Kane return to English shores in the future and attempt to break Shearer's record? Only time will tell. Number 3. Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, Manchester United's all-time leading scorer and third on the Premier League's all-time scoring chart with 208 goals, demonstrated longevity, versatility, and a flair for the dramatic. After bursting onto the scene with Everton, Rooney joined United in 2004 and was instrumental in them dominating English football for close to a decade. While the team evolved, Rooney remained one of the constants. Whether it was netting a quite ridiculous overhead kick in the Manchester Derby against Manchester City, or scoring from inside the halfway line, the former Everton starlet matched superb technique with an intense commitment and drive. Number 2. Alan Shearer. Coming second on the list is Shearer, the Premier League's all-time leading scorer with 260 goals. His consistency and longevity, combined with a potent mix of power and precision, make him one of the best strikers to ever play in the league. The Englishman enjoyed great success at Blackburn Rovers and Newcastle United and is regarded as a legend at both. Shearer's record as the highest scorer in Premier League history may stand for some time yet after Kane, his closest challenger, made the move to Bayern Munich. If you ever needed a pure goalscorer who was obsessed with just that one thing, then perhaps there has never been any better than the man who was at the top of the all-time Premier League scoring list. Number 1. Thierry Henry. Eyebrows were raised when Arsène Wenger spent £11 million to bring Henry to Arsenal in 1999. The Frenchman had struggled at Juventus, scoring just 3 times in the 1998-99 campaign. Henry soon justified his price tag as he wowed fans with a blend of pace, skill, and finishing, scoring 175 goals for Arsenal and winning the Premier League Golden Boot 4 times. Thierry Henry is not only the best striker to ever play in the Premier League, but in the eyes of many, the best player to ever play in the league, regardless of position. It was no surprise that Henry and Shearer were the first 2 players inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. There you have it, our list of the top 25 strikers in Premier League history. Agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more football content. Until next time, this is Rays of Sports signing off. Cheers!